Howdy folks, welcome back to another episode of Super Hamster Plays Kingdom Death Monster. As ever, do me a favour, hit the thumbs up button on this video, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe by clicking on the little hamster down here, or somewhere around there will be a subscribe button. Doing so really helps me out. It'll help me take over YouTube or one subscriber at a time. In the last video, we sent George, Mildred, Mithrax and Bobby out to hunt a level 1 screaming antelope. Some weird shenanigans took place, and now we have Gary, Mel, Miriam and Rick fighting a level 1 antelope. All slightly more sane than when they went in, all slightly more traumatized than when they went in, some feeling a bit weaker, and one feeling slightly despondent with the world. But we'll carry on. I've set the deck up. The Screaming Antelope level 1 has a base movement of 6 and a base toughness of 8, which is comparable to the lion, if I remember. It has 7 basic AI cards and 3 advanced AI cards. They're all shuffled into there, and it also has the trample ability or trait, which basically, if it hits our people as it runs past, it will trample on them and they'll take monster level in damage to a random location, which in this case is an extra point of damage. Its instinct reaction is graze. We'll get to that at the time, but basically it means it mills around here with the acanthia plants. Speaking of which, you'll notice the terrain here is a bit different to the lion. With the lion, you have the line in the center and the heroes are encased around it. With the antelope, you set it up in the middle. It has 6 acanthus plants located around it. But all have to be within 4 spaces of the antelope, and you discard or you ignore the set up at least 6 spaces away from all of the plants, because I can't actually work out a way of fitting it in, so I checked, and yeah, you just ignore that. Yeah, so we have 6 acanthus plants, and if it decides to graze, it basically wanders over to one and then starts munching and heals itself. You also have a bug patch, which has to be down here. Acanthus bug patch. And then you have 2 random locations. I got the giant stone head, so we put that one there. And I have debris, which you set up on an adjacent to a board edge, which I've done there. And the heroes start either all along that edge or all along that edge. And funnily enough, I've decided to start over here where the terrain is to my advantage. And there we go. One rule that may come into play is heal. Basically, when this thing grazes and it eats these things, it heals 1. You take the wound or the top card from the wound stack and put it on the bottom of the AI deck. And that's it. So we're going to get going. And first things first. When the heroes arrive, due to having the whisker harp, all survivors gain 1 survival, which wouldn't normally be a big deal, but because Rick got all traumatized, he lost a point, so he's on 3. Everybody else is on 4 already, so nothing gained there. And that's the introduction done. Obviously normally these would be over here and there, but I'm just going to put them out of the way. This is the gobbled up card. It may come into effect, so I've got that to hand. And I've got debris, I've got giant face. I'm going to keep these over here just so that they're to hand. If I need to, I can move them out of the way, obviously. But yeah, let's get cracking. So first AI card. Rundown. Full move in the direction the monster is facing and turn to face the closest survivor. So it was movement 6, wasn't it? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Pick a target. Knockdown survivor in range 12. None. Closest survivor in range 12. Well, that's going to be one of these two, isn't it? So we'll go with Bobby, who should be on evasion 2, but I've not filled his sheet in. 1 point for his vest and 1 point for being all greased up. I filled these guys in. Miriam also has the evasion. Mildred doesn't have evasion, she's just unlucky, and you have nothing. Okay, so we're going to go with Bobby. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can now attack. So speed 1, hitting on 2. Bobby's got evasion 2, so hitting on a 4. Misses. Oh, we like that. Move twice and attack. If the target is knocked down, this attack gains +3 speed, which it wasn't. Doesn't have a crushed spine, so failed. Right. Heroes. Gary here is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, and then spend his action to climb up onto here. He's going to go 4, 5, and then climb up. So that's Gary. Mel is going to pounce. No, she's not. Do I want to pounce? I'm going to spend a point of survival and dash. And I want to end up there. So come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. And now I will spend her point of movement and her point of her action point in order to pounce, which is an ability of the White Lion coat, which is just here. Right. Spend your movement and your action. Move 3 spaces in a straight line. And I've checked this online, and straight line has to be in the cardinal direction, so you can't go diagonally. Landed in 3. Move 3 spaces in a straight line. Then, if you move 3 spaces, activate a melee weapon with +1 strength. So she can now activate her guitars. And this is where it's going to get complicated. So, her guitars. Normally, speed of 2. But they're paired, so when you attack, add the speed of the second. So she's now on 4 attacks. The pounce action will give a +1 strength. Sorry, that's what I was looking for. The White Lion armor. If you have a complete set, your weapons are your claws. Gain +1 speed and +2 strength when attacking with daggers or guitars. +1 speed. So she's now at 5 attacks with +2 strength. Because of the coat, when you pounce, you gain another point of strength. So that's a +3 so far. And when and their strength 3 anyway, so she's going to be adding 6 to this roll. And it's toughness 8. So a 1 would be a fail to wound. Anything else is going to be a wound on these 5. And she gets +1, because of her gauntlet, she gets +1 accuracy when you pounce. So normally they'd be a 7, they're now a 6, and it's in the blind spot. That's a 5. She doesn't have any other funny rules. Nope, just the luck. So 5 attacks, hitting on 5s. 1 miss. And then 4 wounds all on 2s. So first hit location. The Restless Muzzle. If you hit with a club or a shield, you clobber the monster and gain +2 luck when attempting to wound this location. She doesn't. So does it wound? Yes, it does. 1 wound. Second one. Gnarled Horns. Does she wound? Yes, she does. Now, normally, that would have been a critical, which would have been lovely, but not to be, so just a wound. Third hit. The Restless Shoulder. Right. If she wounds, there is a result. She does wound. Right. So the wound clips the screaming antelope's shoulder and it jumps back. Turn to face the attacker, then without turning, move the monster 1 space directly away from the attacker, cancelling all hits that are now out of range. So spins around, jumps back, which is going to push these guys over. They'll have been bashed, so they're knocked down because they don't have any weird rules. They will both take a wound. The third one is now out of range, or the fourth one I should say is now out of range. But 3 successful hits. Yeah, when you've got a full set of lion armor and a pair of guitars, you can make a mess of some things when you get to do the pounce. So, where are we? Miriam takes a point of damage from the trample to the hands. He's got some armor there, so that will reduce his armor down to 1. And Bobby will take a hit in the feet. And he also has a full suit of rawhide armor, so that will reduce him to 1. I'm just going to check that no one's got any wound boxes filled in. No. So we're good there. And before the end of her turn, Mel is going to use a second point of survival, telling Miriam to stand up. So we'll do that. So we're now on to, that's the end of Mel's turn. We're now to Miriam's turn. He's going to spend a point of survival telling Rick to stand up. So we'll do that. And because of the rawhide armor set ability, on a 6 or more, he gets that point of survival back. No, so he does drop. And although I didn't rub it out until I made the roll, technically speaking, I should have rubbed that out, dropped it to a 3, then rolled and gained 1 back. It doesn't make any difference to him as a character, but there are some characters that things can be triggered when they gain a point or when they lose a point. So he has lost a point and then he has gained a point. But he's not such a character and there are no such rules in effect, so it doesn't matter. Now, he can attack with his spear, which would normally hit on a 6. No modifiers, so will still hit on a 6. Nope. And now we come to Rick's turn. What's Rick going to do? Attack with his sword? Of course he is. So he's got 2 attacks hitting on 6s also. Both hit. His sword is a strength of 2, but he's at -1, so he'll get +1 to the rolls. Yeah, so normally wounding on a 7. Furry tail. And we hit. Nope. And the second one. The giant tongue. -2 to wound this location. So what did I say it was? He's adding 1 to it, 2, 3, so he needs a 5. Right, so it is a wound. So we'll take an AI card, stick it over there. But when you wound the giant tongue, blood and spittle erupt from the screaming antelope's wounded undermaw. In case you hadn't noticed, this thing has a giant mouth under there. It's very disgusting. If the wound result is even, it is not. Suffer 1 brain damage. If the wound is odd, it is. Gain 1 point of insanity. So we are up to insanity 2. And that's everyone's turn. Right, on with the antelope's turn. Back kick. In its blind spot in range, there's nothing. Closest threat in range. Let's say it's going to be Rick. Move and attack the target. So we will attack. So move and attack. 1 attack, hitting on a 3. He's got evasion 2, so it's hitting on a 5. No. Human turn. Human turn? Survivor's turn. Let's start with Gary with his funky bow, and he will fire his clawhead arrow. It normally hits on a 6, but because he's up on the stone head, he gets +2. So that will hit on a 4. It hits. So if you hit the monster, they gain a -1 evasion token, which would be down there. So it's going to be easier to hit as it's running around with this giant spear thing stuck in its something. Where did it hit? In its chest. If you wound. Right. So it's strength 6, the giant thing, yeah, but it's reduced by 1, so that's a 5. 3 or more will do it. Yes, so wounded. But turn the screaming antelope to face the attacker, full move in a straight line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And trampled. And thus takes a wound in the chest, which is 3 points of armor there, so that will drop that down to 2. And that's Gary's go. Yeah. Doing all the hit locations already. So we're down to 3, 4, 5. Right, okay. Rick. You only movement 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm not going to get there to do anything. Consequently, I'm going to move to there. I'm going to spend a point of survival telling Mel to stand up. So that would drop that down to a 2, but she also has the rawhide armor, so nope, it does drop to a 2. And I'm then going to, where's the debris card? Scavenge. Spending their action, roll a d10 to scavenge. If you're carrying a scavenging kit, add 3 to the result. I am not. 6. Find useful remains. Gain 1 basic resource and archive this terrain. So Gary gains +1 basic resource. Actually, we'll just stick that on his gut. So that's him done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And stab with our spear. So that's 2 hitting on 6s. 1 hit, 1 miss. Hit location. Got that one. The furry throat. If you hit with a club or a shield, you clubber the monster and gain +2 luck. We haven't. So just roll to wound. That's strength 3, 4, 5, back down to a 4. So I need a 4 or more. Yeah. I'm going to spend another point of Mel's survival to dash again. To step back 1, and will then pounce. So once again, 4 base attacks, 1 from having the full suit of White Lion armor, normally hitting on a 7 with an accuracy of 7, 6, blind spot 5. So yeah, 5 attacks hitting on 5s. All of them. And these will be wounding on 2s, as before. The pallet. Fails. The giant maw snaps shut. If you are adjacent to the monster, you must spend 1 survival to react quickly or suffer 3 damage in the arm location. No, I'm not going to do it because I have a feeling that being able to spend a point of survival to dodge some hits is going to be worth doing. No, that was 1, 2. The restless inner thigh. Wound. Your attack disables the monster's powerful running muscles. The screaming antelope gains -1 movement. Movement. -1 movement. The restless ear. If you hit with a club or a shield, doesn't. So that would just be one of those. The restless back. Yeah. Yeah, so we need to shuffle these. This is going to be a really quick fight, isn't it? Yep, shouldn't look. And the 5th one. The wailing slide. A trap. Reshuffle the hit location deck. The screaming antelope panics. Its undermouth unleashed an inhuman wail. It bucks wildly and leaps into the air. The attacker is doomed. All survivors adjacent to the monster suffer 2 brain damage per monster level and knock back 5 and are knocked down. So 2 points of brain. So that would knock Mel down to 0 on the trauma. Knock back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang. 5. And that would be collision. So they will both take a wound. So that is Mildred takes 1 in the foot. And Rick takes 1 in the waist. Right. The monster lands on its belly and begins to slide on its teeth. Turn the monster directly away from the attacker and full move forward in a straight line. On a collision, all non-deaf survivor gains 1 random disorder. So turn the monster directly away from the attacker, already done, and move forward in a single straight line. On a collision, non-deaf survivors gain 1 random disorder, in addition to normal collision rules. So just make a normal move forward, which in this case is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we reshuffle all the hit locations. And that is everybody's go. Yeah, Myth poked it in the side and missed. Gary shot with the arrow and got the big gut thing stuck in it. Rick checked the debris. Actually, I put the debris on the wrong person. It wasn't on Gary, was it? It was on Rick here. So actually, he's on +2 basic resources. Times 2. And you're not on any basic resources. Yeah. And we're back to the Antelope's turn. It has rundown. Full move in the direction the monster is facing, and then turn to face the closest survivor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick a target. Knock down survivor within range 12. Closest survivor within range 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they are both in range. Move twice and attack the target. If knocked down, the attack gains 3 speed. So we are going to go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is brilliant because they can't get there. Because he's crippled from that shot to the thigh, wherever it was back there, -1 movement. His brain tells him, I can reach that guy, and charges off, but then he starts limping and wobbles around a bit and doesn't quite get there. That's the end of their turn. These two will stand up. And we're back to the survivor's turn. You're in. Move over there and attack twice, hitting on normally be 6s, but -1 evasion, so hitting on 5s. 1 hit. The Restless Shank. What's the strength on that one? Strength 3, 4, 5, -1. So, oh, come on, brain! You can do it, brain. Adding 4 24s. That'll be a wound. Roll a d10 for each survivor currently in the monster's blind spot. There isn't any. On a result of a 3 or more, they are brutally back-kicked and suffer 3 damage to a random location and knock back 5. So you lose that one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But can't get close enough to actually hurt it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't do anything there either. Oh, then Gary, what can you do with your bow? So 2, normally hitting on 7s, but because of the accuracy bonus, hitting on 5s. Both hit. In the rump. Could do with killing it. Right. Gary here has a lucky charm, so we'll be criticaling on 9s. Strength 3, -1, so that's strength 2. So we'll be wounding on 6s and criticalling on 9s. It's neither. Turn the monster to face away from the attacker and full move forward in a straight line. Cancel all hits now out of range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One space out of range, so the second hit misses. This beastie is a very skitterish beastie. Right. Monster's turn. Doesn't have any AI, so basic attack. Pick the closest knockdown survivor in range. There isn't any. No target graze. So let's check graze. The monster full moves to the closest acanthus plant and ends its turn. If the monster is on or adjacent to an acanthus plant, archive the terrain and heal 1 wound. So 1, 2, 3. The monster full moves to the closest acanthus plant and ends its turn. So that should be the end of its turn. If the monster is on or adjacent to an acanthus plant, heal the terrain, or archive the terrain and heal 1 wound. So I would assume it does gain a wound. It's a little confusing because it says move and end its turn. Its turn is done, but you carry on reading. So I'm gonna read it that they mean end its movement and its attack. So we'll archive that one, and it gains 1 back. And just let me double check. Heal. Healing 1 wound. Let me double check in the rulebook, but I think that means you take the one from the top. Yeah, it was take from the top and put it on the bottom. So we take that one back and it goes on to there. And that's its turn. Right. Back to the humans then, or the survivors. Right, Miriam. 1, 2, 3. And stab. Hitting on 5s. 2 hits. With 3, 4, plus 4 to wound, so wounding on 4s. Hit it in the chest. Yes. Turn the screaming antelope to face the attacker and full move in a straight line. But it takes its wound and then moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's shoot it with a bow. So hitting on normally 7s, plus 2 accuracy, and -1 evasion. So 7, 6, 5. Hitting on 4s. Both hit. With 2 to wound, so I'll be wounding on 6s. Get rid of that one. Shoot it in the throat. No. And shoot it in the muzzle. 6, 7. No. Let's have a look at this acanthus plant thing. So if we can roll an 8 or more, basically, we're going to scavenge for the acanthus plant there. So who is it? It's Rick. Roll a d10. 3. Find nothing. Archive the terrain. And then Mel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, we can get into the blind spot. 4, 5. Alright, so 4 attacks normally. We gain 1 from using the full armor set. We don't gain the accuracy from the gauntlets because we're not pouncing. but we do gain the accuracy for the blind spot and the evasion, so these are still hitting on 5s. 3. First one. In the gnarled horns, and we are getting +2 strength, -1. Oh, she's not -1, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, +5 strength, so hitting on 3s. Yeah, there's a wound. Dead. And that's one dead antelope. And I would say that was quite an easy kill. So we're obviously tooled up enough that we can take on more dangerous antelopes. I understand it does have a lot of advanced cards that can do the whole gobbling up, getting swallowed essentially by that giant maw, or it can skewer you with its horns. But I think we've got a lot of early hits in there that whittle through its AI deck, so we haven't really seen what it can do. But that's for next time. But where are we? Rewards. Let me dig the book out, and I'll tidy the board up a little bit, and we'll dig out, have a look at the book, see what rewards we get, and roll some dice. Okay, so Aftermath, victory. Each survivor gains 1 hunt XP. So Rick gains 1. Miriam gains 1. Mel gains 1. And Gary gains 1. But that's not enough to trigger anything. Weapon proficiency levels. Rick here is proficient in an axe. He's not using an axe. Miriam is proficient with a spear, so does gain 1, which is going to trigger a specialist with the spear. And Mel and Gary do not have weapon specializations yet, so they don't gain anything. And then we gain the rewards, and in this case, when the monster is defeated, any survivor with 20+ insanity. Nope. The monsters gain the group gains the following rewards: 4 basic and 4 antelope resources. If the settlement has pottery, which we don't. So 4 basic resources plus the 2 that Rick got from there's 1 from the hunt and 1 from going through the debris. So yeah, what have we got? Hide, bone, hide, something, bone. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And then 4 antelope resources. And nothing weird. Ooh, sorry. That's the hunt deck. Yeah, there's the resource deck. What is that? Sorry. A shank bone. A strangely jointed bone. A large flat tooth. When you gain this, a survivor of your choice gains 1 insanity. Who's looking low? Mel's got no insanity left. Yeah, let's give it to Mel. A little bit of insanity is always a good thing. Its surface is rough and bumpy. There you go. Another shank bone. And a pelt. So 1... Where have we got? 1 bone. 2 bones. 3 more bones. And then 2 hide and a pelt, which is another hide. And 2 unknowns. So I guess we can make some, turn the pelt, use it as hide, use these as hide. So we can start making some leather So maybe we can get some leather armor out of this. Don't know why I'm shuffling. Habit. And we've got lots of funky bones. So I guess in the next settlement phase, we'll be having a good look round and seeing what we can make from this lot. Overall, I'd say that's a pretty successful hunt. In fact, I'd say that's more than successful. Nobody died, nobody picked up any injuries, although we do have a few mental disorders amongst us. Gained quite a stash of resources, although nothing too exotic. I'm not sure what we can do with this stuff. Maybe there's something flashy about it, but we'll find that one out in the next time. I'm not even sure actually if we've got the locations to be able to use this stuff, but we'll find out in the next video. So, went for a walk, got lost in the dark, went a little bit crazy, came back thinking to ourselves, not who we thought we were. Found an antelope, killed an antelope, skinned an antelope. Going home, lots of antelope burgers for everyone back at the village. If you enjoyed this one, give me a thumbs up on the video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Help me take over YouTube one subscriber at a time. And I'll catch you in the next video, which will be the settlement phase to work out all of this. And I believe we've got some visitors from the king sending one of his henchmen down to have a word with us. So that should be interesting, because we'll be meeting the hand. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.